And we're back. After prelims, everyone's still coherent. A little teary-eyed, and but we're here. We're here to talk about it and all the things that happened this weekend, because it wasn't just prelims in the East and the West. A lot of things happened. So, as always, welcome to Athletics LLC. Another fun week of episode of Chit Chat and some gathering of informations and those thoughts of those informations. So, no such thing as jet lag.
Yes.
Apparently I have jet lag because I can't read.
Yes. We're doing spectacular because I figured out today what day it is.
I still don't know what day it is.
Because yesterday and the day before, I did not know what day it was. And my Monday was 46 hours long. So
Wah, wah.
We're good now.
Governor, well said. The governor survived Sacramento. I came home with an ear infection, so I did not survive. So I don't know how that happened.
There was a litany of ailments, allergies, flu-like symptoms, sore throats. We had a couple of our athletes had food poisoning. It was a smorgasbord of
a smorgasbord. Okay.
Yeah.
Where you guys were in Rancho Cordova, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so don't stay there again.
First of all, it was I was totally unexpected. I did not understand that with all the rain that California got.
Yeah.
All vegetation that was priorly, dead was now
droughted.
There was stuff in the air. I mean, it was not quite Oregon, but it was close. I was miserable for those 3 or 4 hours each day. I really was.
Yep. Sir Lucius, how are you?
I'm well. Survived freezing Jacksonville last week. I think, bright me, it's Florida. I don't need pants, just shorts.
The knees were knocking.
It was chilly and windy, and yeah. But hey, we didn't have any rain delays and no lightning delays, so it was good. We survived. It was good.
I was very surprised to not see anything on Twitter about lightning delays.
Yeah.
So
we had a couple.
Just you wait. They're coming.
Wednesday morning, early for like practice stuff, but nothing other than that. We were good.
Yeah. Last but definitely never least, Clyde, how are you?
Well, the immune system is strong, so.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
No allergy issues out here on the West Coast. Prelims went pretty well for us. Everything could have been better, but happy about that. The family is back. Tiana has graduated from the University of Tennessee.
There you
Baby
go.
is here. So I really couldn't be doing much better.
Awesome.
Seriously. That's awesome.
He may make a cameo appearance. You may be able to hear him off in the background being early terrible twos. 18 months, but acting like he's 3.
I mean,
Sounds about right.
sounds about your your resultant of product. So
Sounds about right.
all right. Well, let's do what we actually are supposed to be doing, and talking about this thing about track and field and how we play it so well. Track is back, and we're at close to the end of the collegiate season at this point, and it never turns off. It just keeps getting bigger.
So let's stop at the top. Let's start at the top. Ryan Krauser. Really, Ryan? Is that what we're doing?
Whatever.
Like, you put a wall up, and you think the guy he almost broke the wall. Right? Come on.
He's like, don't put barriers down.
Yeah. Put the barrier further away next time.
Yeah, right.
Well, if you've ever been to UCLA, when I heard that Krauser would be throwing there, the first thing that came to my mind was like, did they create a new wall? Because he might throw it out of the seam. Like he might do that, and he damn near did. Came really, really close to it. And the other huge news out of the throws at UCLA at the Grand Prix was obviously Cameron Rogers releasing a in hammer and taking the win, which was super dope to see. But honestly, outside of that, didn't the Grand Prix kind of suck?
Well, Maggie Ewan had herself a weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
She
Yes.
did. She did.
The field events,
So why would you classify it as sucking? Let's start there.
okay. Well, let's start with the headline. We all got, first, the two main names are a no-show for business reasons, right? And then it defaults to the buildup between, Sha'Carri's gonna run, and then Ty Lue looks amazing, and we're gonna get to see that showdown, and neither one of them run in the finals at all. Like the
Okay,
whole
so
thing was just,
okay, disappointing, but suck is a different deal. I mean, like they like she ran 1090, she ran 1090, she ran 1088. There was a Terrence Laird sighting. I mean, I know he only ran 20 flat, which is fast, but still pretty good performance. Got from Jamaica, ran 44 seconds. I mean, the women's hurdle race was phenomenal.
Yes.
But okay, the names in the women's hurdle race was phenomenal, but the
They
race
ran
itself,
they ran 1240s or 1235, something like that, didn't they?
Yes.
yeah, Jasmine looked good. She did.
Hold on a second. What did 1231 was
spoiled
one time?
are we, right?
Hold on a second.
Oh, we're spoiled.
She ran
we're
1235.
We're spoiled.
We are
Listen,
definitely
Come
spoiled.
on now.
We're spoiled.
So what I'm saying to you is I'm not going to sit here and say that the LA meet was, oh my God, I got to see it again. I got to watch all the replays, but it didn't suck. There were some great performances in that meet.
Listen,
We're
I
spoiled.
rushed home. I rushed to watch the Peacock replay. I fell asleep 3 times.
Must have been really tired.
No,
Must have been
No.
really tired.
my travel was simple.
Because again, I don't think it's going to be a meet that you're going to be raving about. But the word suck is a little strong, sir. Just a little bit.
Okay.
So,
Well,
in-
women's-
in-
Okay, all right. So here's a school of thought. Okay, so why do we ask the 100-meter people to run rounds and meets like these, but nobody else does?
that should not have happened.
That's a great question.
It shouldn't happen.
No.
I don't know what that's
Right.
about. It's
And
trying to
knowing
prolong
John
the drama.
Smith knowing John Smith and Dennis Mitchell as we do, is anybody surprised that those two didn't run?
I'm not surprised at all.
No, not at all.
I
Don't-
actually
A and a B.
called. I said,
But
I
don't
called-
send these in finals.
yeah, I called that one of them wouldn't run. I didn't know which one, but I was like, you ain't gonna see no head-to-head in the final. The fact that neither one of them showed up was just like, oh, for real?
So I
Mhm.
text. Who did I text? I said, "What happened?" Somebody was there. What
Hold on a
happened?
second. What was the winning time in the women's 400 in that meet?
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. What
I
was
actually-
it?
It sucked.
I don't know.
48, 90.
48, 90 something.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good meet. It was a
Paulita.
pretty good meet.
Who
Yeah, world
is
records,
scheduled to
world
run against?
leaders.
Who's scheduled to run against Sydney?
Sid. Yeah.
in
Yeah,
Paris.
can't wait to see that. Can't
Right.
wait to
So
see that.
and I think that for its first year in its infancy, we'll call it, I thought the LA meet went off pretty good. And I think the problem with the LA meet this year was they got a late start. John Capriati, I think, was kind of the straw stirring that drink. I think he got a late start on getting people in. But I think now that it's established and they're going to make it a yearly thing, it's going to get better and better because, there were some big names were there. There's some great performances. There was a Jenna Prandini sighting.
Yeah.
That's the one who's in Korea.
Morlake broke 11 seconds.
Mhm.
Well, that
No.
wasn't the first time this year that Morlake broke 11 seconds, so I wasn't surprised to see that. It's great that she's showing consistency.
But
I'll tell
okay,
you
but
something else that
when
was
has she broke
disappointing.
11 seconds before this year? When's the last time she did it?
Oh, before this year? No, it's been a while.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's
Absolutely.
what I think Clyde is trying to say. What the LA meet was built up to be and what it turned out to be are two totally different things.
It didn't suck. How do you have a world record? Watch somebody run 48
I
seconds.
said outside of the field events. Listen, if you promise me, and I don't even like steak, if you promise me, filet mignon, and ultimately you bring me a strip, I'm not going to be happy.
Okay.
I'm going to be happy.
I'm just going to allow you to be yourself.
I personally love strips.
And be petty. But again, I don't think it was the hype that anybody wanted it to be. Because so Bobby pulled out a thing and said, who else pulled out?
Carrie and Tyler pulled out.
They ran. They just didn't run the 5.
They ran a
so those four people made the meet suck. Incredible.
All right. Anyway, there's so much more track to talk about.
Exactly. Dogging that man's meat.
You ain't even get to the actual concerning thing from LA. Because we were all super excited about Gabby, right? Something's clearly wrong with Gabby.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she just had a bad day. It happens.
Did you see it?
I did. I saw I didn't see it live. I like you, Peacock replay, but clearly there was something wrong with her that day. And so I think that let's hold off on judgment until we see her race again.
Oh no judgment, concern. Like
because because clearly 3 weeks ago we were like, oh my God.
Well, that's the point, right? We are all better off if Gabby Thomas is at her best. Mm-hmm. And we're all rooting for her to be at her best. That was disturbing. It really was. Right. I hope she's okay.
Right. So then you go across the water and Fred's still doing Fred things, looking over at the African guy like, stop talking trash, right?
Okay, can someone explain to me seriously? Like every year I have to hear hype about the African dude and it never pans out. At what point are we going to stop with that?
Are you talking about Sabine?
It's him.
No, not Sabine.
Not Sabine. It's
Sabine.
Kenyon.
It's whatever his name is. Yeah.
Ferdinand is what I was calling Ferdinand.
Yeah, like he just talks a lot of trash.
He does.
He talks a lot of trash.
To go on record and say he's not trying to lose this year at all.
Yeah, bro, why would you say that?
And then again, back in LA, in the meet that sucked, Jamaican kid ran 980 something. Christian Coleman second at 991. That's a horrible track meet, boy, I tell you.
Yeah.
Was that a good race for Christian Coleman?
He ran 991.
Yes.
Well, here's let me give y'all something that I thought was kind of cool.
In May, that's pretty good.
It was at night in Austria, and myself and Paul Doyle are watching the meet on his phone, and Paul represents the young Jamaican kid, and he goes huffing. He goes, my guy's too dumb to know he's not supposed to win this race. He goes, watch this. I swear to God. And then the race happens. He goes, and he's jumping up and down. He says he's holding the phone, right? He's jumping up and down like this. I said, Paul, I can't watch.
And again back in LA, CJ Allen.
His name is actually Ferdinand. I was being facetious.
CJ Allen in the 400 hurdles is on a mission, clearly. Another 47-second run in the personal best.
Yep. That was pretty damn good.
Yeah. And I'm gonna let y'all keep talking about meets until we get to talk about the.
Well, I mean, you got to talk about Rabat, right?
Yeah, you guys talk about Rabat.
Yeah.
Rabat was great. I'm still watching it.
We'll get to Gatas.
Wait, here's the crazy part.
I think we should let him get into it.
Nah, I'm gonna go last.
But then, Sharika Jackson was spectacular.
Yes.
Tamari Davis is clearly trending in the right direction to be the superstar, which we thought she could be.
Yep.
You know, that was very impressive.
What I thought was cool about that is that Otto basically was telling people that, like on this, on the telecast, like this one here, she gonna be good.
Well, you know, the thing with Tamari that I find really interesting is because she turned pro so young, everybody still remembers her and sees her as the kid. She's not a kid anymore. Like, you watch her run, she looks completely different. She's grown. She got muscles now. Like, she's ready, and she looks like it. You know what I mean?
People forget that she was fourth at our trials last year.
Yes, she was.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Nobody, like, everybody's like not thinking about it that way.
No, kudos to Gary Evans and his crew for bringing it along properly and getting her right. Yeah, she's definitely on the rise there.
So Gary had 2 400 wins. Stephen Gardner and oh gosh, what's his name from UTEP? Bailey trains with Stephen Gardner. Ran 44.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, he was the one that won LA.
Yes, he was.
I didn't realize that. Yeah.
It's Gary's kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Gary's got. He's a great coach. He does a great job.
So, Sir Lucius, can you break down the 110s in Rabat, please? What you saw?
Oh boy.
What I saw was, first of all, I'm gonna give always give credit to the guy who won the race. He did a great job. Yes. And I'm gonna give the guy that finished second D minus. We've had this discussion. I mean, and let's just be real. Like, Grant and I are both disappointed because I got to coach him better. He's got to execute better. He's better than that. But as the EP told me, I can't be getting mad because a guy ran 13-12. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Listen, and I messed with you because I get it. Like, I wanted to blow up my guy, and he had 170-point PB in the deck. So I understand. Yeah. But we see him for who they can be, not for who they are, and I get it.
And honestly, the thing that people don't understand about my grades is not because he won or lost the race. There's a technical model we've been working really hard at it, and he's done it once. He did it properly in Atlanta, where he was about a B pluses, and then we just got to get it locked in. He, trust me, he was more angry at himself than I could have ever been. I didn't have to say much. He was really upset with himself. But I mean, still very excited about the rest of the year, with Grant. And I think that
wait, the season's not already over? You mean?
No, not close.
It's so crazy how wild people are on the internet, right?
And that's like the whole season. That's like his, like he hasn't run slower than 13-15 this year, right? I think he hasn't run 13-2 this year. So it's like, yeah, we're okay. And again, Broadbell, we act like Broadbell's some guy that is trash, and we also forget that Grant beat him by a bigger margin like 4 or 5 weeks ago. So yeah, we're good. And again, it's going to be some great battles between those two. They're both young. We have the ultimate respect for both the Jamaicans and their coaches. They do a great job. So it's going to be some great races. But so let's get to Gatas. So tell us about the decathlon in Gatas, sir. I'm sure I'm pronouncing the name of the city wrong, but
no, you're right.
No, you're close enough anyway. Okay. It's interesting because the way the whole meet is set up, right? It's the Super Bowl of the combined events. And so, like there's like 10,000 people at a 6-lane track. And there's, I think the budget for the meet's $1 million. Well, one sponsor gives $1 million. The title sponsor, Hippo Bank, HYPO. And, they've had 48 years of this. So 2 years, they're going to have their 50th anniversary. And they are very, 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 very used to great performances to the point where Anna did some ridiculous things this weekend. But how about this one? Her 202 in the 8 wasn't the meet record in the 8. Right? Her 2285 wasn't the meet record in the 2. Right? So like crazy things have happened at that place before. And what I thought was amazing was I got to be there for the whole week. So I saw all of the pre-meet stuff. And as I said to you, Anna looked like that all week. Right. And it was just really awesome to see all that come out in the meet. You know what I mean? Like there was not, like she looked like that in every pre-meet thing that she did. You know, I was out
You mean
there
it was
for
almost like it was like we planned for that to happen, maybe?
I mean, just it seemed as if, you know, like because you know, I think sometimes people forget that, you know, these people practice. You know, we do things, you know, that aren't on TV. But yeah, it was awesome to see Europe get a firsthand look at the monster loading that is Anna, because that was the beginning. There's a whole lot more coming, as of course you know. But
okay, so you're there. You're there. Most of those people, that's their first time seeing her. What was the review?
Oh, they like mouth wide open.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike, and this is not a shot at all at NAFI, right? Because they've seen, remember, like Anna was running that hard to try to break the meet record, right? 7,000 for sure, but the meet record is over 7,000 points, and it's not Jackie's, right? So they've seen this before, but what they all realized was different.
Not to be contrary, she wasn't trying to break the meet record. She was just trying to score 7,000.
Yes, I know, but anyway, to the people in the stands, that's what she was trying to do. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because that's what gets excitement. That's what I'm sure the announcer mentioned it several times. That's what they do.
Sure, in multiple languages.
Yes.
But what was amazing to all of them is her skill level combined with her youth. Right? Like you're comparing a very, very young, like in actual age and in international seasoning athlete to, I mean, by the time Jackie broke the world record, like she was as seasoned as season could be. Right. And so you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, this has a real shot of happening. And it was cool to watch, you know, all of Europe start to see that. But the funny part is the newcomer of the meet was a 17-year-old young lady who scored 6,500 points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like that's what happens at that meet. You know, I took a young man whose PB is 8,015 and all of Bahamas was going crazy about it. He scored 81, 82 and almost got cussed out by his coach at the meet. But, you know, like that meet was crazy. I mean, 3 guys ran under 10:30 in the 100.
Who won the men, by the way?
Pierce Lepage from he was
Canada?
silver medalist from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
His PB is 8701 and he scored 8,700.
Wow.
That sucks.
So someone in Canada is coaching the multi as well, right?
Well, 2 somebodies because they don't even train in the same group.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't. Okay, well then 2 somebodies.
No.
Somebody's doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they train about 2.5 hours from each other. You know, Damien had a subpar meet and was still 8,600.
Well, so, you know, I was obviously Anna's agent was sending us videos. Anna's dad was there. He was sending us videos and pictures. And the crazy thing is just even through the videos, you could feel the excitement. You could feel the energy in the stadium, you know. Yeah. And, you know, during, you know, it started when I got the hurdle video, like they were just going crazy, you know. And for the 800, you know, the atmosphere and the energy they put into, you know, watching her do that helped her run as fast as she did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because like the crowd was incredibly invested and they knew exactly what was at stake. It's, you know, like it's probably like being a great distance runner and going to Eugene, or being a great javelin thrower and going to Oslo. You know what I mean? Like You're someplace where greatness in your event area has happened, and the people there know it, love it, appreciate it, and they're just all kind of dialed in.
I mean,
It
for all
was a
intents
lot
and
of fun.
purposes, that's kind of what the old faithful in Beaverton are really missing right now. They're missing the exclusiveness of the old stadium, and the idea that whenever there's a distance race on that track, it is a special moment, and
Yeah.
so I am actually, that is actually on my bucket list. So if you have space in your suitcase next year, I will go with you.
So I will say this. Here's the thing. Next year is probably the only year that any of you will ever be allowed to go. Because of the calendar in the European Championships next year, GOTSIS is actually moving back a week. So it actually will not be the same weekend as
It'll be the week
regionals.
between regionals and conference. So that'll be pretty cool.
All right, I'll start
Yep.
booking the tickets now. All right, cool.
Yep. Oh, and I will say this, because nobody, if you weren't there, you won't know this. Simone Ehammer is going to jump 28 feet. He had 3 fouls, so no, like if you weren't there, you didn't see them. But he's also a psychopath. The long jump pit is 9 meters, Kareem. That's where he jumped 845 last year.
Now, didn't we get some Ehammer predictions last year from the EP that didn't exactly pan out?
Hey, look, my bad. He didn't get a medal in his first World Championships. But I'm going to say this.
Wait.
That
Don't
kid
do that.
is going to jump 8.
Hold on a second. Maybe we push the pause button for a second. You need to wear your L's like everybody else, buddy.
I do.
Okay. Hold on a second. You can't go.
Didn't get a medal in his first. He said he was going to win it
because you stuck your chest out, stood up on top of the mountain, and screamed as loud as you could that he was going to win it. And then when he does it, oh my bad, he didn't get one of his first World Championships. Well, then you predicted him to win his first World Championships.
He pooped the bed.
So anyway,
so okay, I was wrong.
Ehammer's still gonna jump. I said that last year. I'm not saying it again.
I don't think you said it last year.
I wore it on the prediction show. So hello, I'm good.
So Chuck, your assessment of Sacramento, what did you see? What kind of stood out to you?
Man. I thought the West was excellent overall. Almost every event gave you something to kind of sit back and be wowed by, right?
I mean, even the 3K steeple.
Oh yeah.
Even the steeple.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm
second fastest collegiate ever. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The steeple was incredible. Here's my overall feel about what the West was, and I'm not specifically comparing it to this year's East, given the windy and conditions that the East had, but being there in person and looking at the last couple of years, the biggest thing that I took away from the West is the narrative has always been that the West has just been inferior, unless we're talking about distance. It's just not true anymore. It's just not true. And across the board, sprints, hurdles, jumps, throws, distance. Like I said, it was really impressive across the board. I thought Sacramento as a host did a really good job, which is, they do that. I was disappointed. I was disappointed that they're not maintaining the track very well out there.
No,
and they need to fix that.
So and to Clyde's point, they had actually canceled all of their home meets prior to hosting the prelims, which is never a good sign. So there were parts of the track that they had no choice. They had to update. They had to update lane 1 on one of the turns. Here's the thing. I never knew that track had 9 lanes going in one direction and 8 in the other.
Yep.
It was like I'm standing there looking in the backstretch, and I'm like, wait a minute, what am I seeing right now?
Oh, it'll mess with your brain.
Yes.
Like,
It was
mess with
very
you.
strange. The only thing that, obviously what we're seeing with the NCAA is coming up and the schedules. I don't know what you dealt with, Sir Lucius, but there was a 10 to 15 degree drop between 6 and 7 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was the craziest thing when I'm sitting there thinking, here come the elites in the horizontals,
Yep.
and they're getting the crappiest weather.
Yep.
So
The
can we
folks that jumped in the
stick to
first
that
two-
for a second?
Go ahead.
Can we stay there for a second? Because
Yes, go ahead.
here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. The reason for that. So there's 2 points I really want to make. I don't understand the idea on paper that the East and the West need to start on the same hour. You know what I mean? Like if we start at 5 p.m., they're starting at 5 p.m. in their time zone. That doesn't make any sense. And given that over the past couple of years, due to weather delays and storms, the meets have never really started at the same time anyway, and everything worked out just fine. Like as a principle, we just need to stop that practice, because here's the thing. Anybody with a brain knows that if the meet is being hosted in Sacramento at this time of year, it's going to be beautiful weather until the sun goes down, and then you're going to have that drop off. So why are we starting the meet at 5 p.m. to placate the distance runners?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. You could run the 5 and the 10 at 7:05 p.m. after sundown, and everybody's going to be just fine on temperature. But it's wild that they do that, and it's fundamentally flawed because the start times have to match the East start times. I'm sorry, California and Florida don't have the same weather patterns, so why don't we just start the meet at an appropriate time for wherever it's
Well, and I totally agree with you on that. Like nothing about the whole there's nothing equal about the UNF track and the Sacramento track. The radius on the Sacramento track is much wider. So let's you address the warm situation. Okay, at Sacramento there's a 6-lane track in the back, right? 6 lanes on the straightaways in the back.
Two around and 6 on the straightaway. Yes,
6
on the straightaways. Okay, in Jacksonville there's 3 on the straightaways. The back straightaway is blocked with tents for the long jump and triple jump coaches. So you have 3 lanes of 70 meters for 48 hurdlers to walk on.
Wow.
Yep.
There's nothing equal about that. Nothing. So there's a lot of inequities there. And I think you're absolutely right. They need to plan the meet based on the weather where you are, not because you start at the same time and the other. That's not the way it should be. There's a lot of things about the prelim system that need to be tweaked. I'm not sure that they ever will be, but they need to be tweaked. But let's talk about some of the great performances out of the West region.
Absolutely.
I mean, Britton Wilson, Adila K, Texas running 42.15. Hey, big shout out to Arizona, 38.8. I don't think anybody saw that.
That's one of the most impressive things I saw.
Absolutely.
That's one of the most impressive things I saw.
I mean,
Arizona men's 4x1 was on fire.
Nebraska running 39.08 in lane 1. I have to give it up to them.
Yeah.
Minnesota men.
Yes.
Minnesota's out there getting it done.
Holy
moly.
Fantastic.
See, but the funny part is, like, if you watched the Big Ten championship at all, you had to see this coming. Because listen, if you go back and look at the Big Ten results of the 100, 200, they chose violence.
Yeah, it was very obvious. Very obvious. On the men's side, it was, I think there's a lot more parity there.
I'll say this.
Odoti, he fired some warning shots.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He did.
Mr. Hibbert in the triple jump again.
Yep.
Come on. Like, stop it.
It's beautifully disrespectful. It's
disrespectful.
The funny part is everybody was counting in the bleachers.
Oh yeah. How many steps he taken?
Yep.
It was 12. He took 12 steps.
No, He was going from short.
Shorter than that?
Yeah, he went from 8 contacts, 4 lefts.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Insanity.
Oh, he's a special talent.
Man, that might be the understatement of the year.
Yeah.
To the governor's point about the horizontals and all the dynamics that went into it with
Mhm.
the weather, temperature change, and all of that, it did create for some really dramatic scenes, like the men's and women's, but specifically the women's horizontals,
Yep.
triple and long, were
Mhm.
just ridiculously dramatic. I'm talking about in the women's long jump, I think 3 women from the early flights
Yes.
actually ended up advancing, and
Yeah.
it came down to
Lucius,
literally
it
the
was-
last jumps.
Yep. So Lucius, so like it's very rare that you have the final 24 jumpers come out and they're looking at the results and they're going, oh my goodness. Like you had to know, or you had to think as a coach that there were some athletes in there that are just like, this is what I got to deal with now.
Mhm.
And I will tell you, it had a lot to do with the weather. It was fantastic up until they walked out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, there was differences with the wind. There was differences in just totally. So, you know, kudos to those women that still, you know, were able to come through and get through to Austin. But it was not easy. That was not easy at all.
And I'm gonna, since I'm not gonna do it in heartbeat props, I'm gonna take a point of privilege right now and shout out my guy, Tyron Harris, TJ Harris, went out to the regional with 5 athletes that he directly deals with and
Mhm.
got 4 out of 5 out. And
Very
the only one that didn't get out got 13th in the women's triple jump on
Yeah.
literally the last jump of the
Last jump.
So
Yeah.
that boy was 1 jump away from going 5 for 5. And I don't know how rare that is, but it feels extremely rare to me. So props to the Harris and our jumps crew.
Great job, TJ.
So tell
Mhm.
me about the windy race, the 100.
Well, I mean, and like so, like both days. I mean, Wednesday was okay. Thursday was okay. Friday, like, I mean, okay. The winds were so high on Friday that they shut down Tent City.
Wow.
I mean, I don't feel like they had a choice. Probably
Yeah,
wasn't
like
much
they-
of anything.
Yeah, no, like the tents were still up. Like they didn't take the
Oh.
tents down. They wouldn't let anybody go out there because they were afraid the winds are going to get so high, start tipping them up.
Yeah.
They took the tent off the backstretch. They still cordoned it off so that people could stand there and coach, but there were no tents on the backstretch. They took all the tents down. That's how bad the wind was, you know. And
Did everybody
It
get
was-
their
it-
deposits back?
no, absolutely not. But I mean, I think that like the biggest thing with the Jacksonville Jacksonville prelim was it wasn't typical Florida weather. It was cold. It wasn't freezing cold. You know, for most Floridians, it was really cold, but it was cold enough that it was hard to get and stay warm. The hunters were just, I mean, there's some very talented sprinters in the East, but 988, 987, and 984, and stuff like that. But I mean, I think when you stop and look at the results, you'll see that the people that were supposed to get through got through. And there were actually a couple of win legal races earlier in the meet, and people ran well. But I think that everybody's talking about the wins. It doesn't matter. We'll all be in the same place here in about a week, and then we'll see what happens.
Does
I
it
mean,
matter what the wind is if you run 1960?
If you can stand up and not fall on your face, then you are capable of doing it.
Exactly, because you had to turn over to do it, right?
Absolutely.
I've said this before.
Yeah.
The thing that makes regionals, if I know that's not the term, but that's the term that we're all used to. The thing
That's
that
the
makes
term it should be.
right. The thing that makes regionals dope is like it's all about who you have to line up and beat. So I don't
Right.
care about 5.5 wins in the East, and I don't care what the marks are. I'm looking at who lined up and was able to execute and beat who they were supposed to beat to get out. The competition
Exactly.
was spectacular. Now, here's a super nerdy stat, and I'm going to give Mr. Iggy props on this from Stanford. On the women's side, there are only 2 non-P5 athletes to advance to Austin in the short sprints, 100, 200. Alyssa Colbert of NAU in the West and Renaya Jones of UCF in the East. Everyone else was P5. I don't know what that means per se, but it's a very nerdy and very interesting.
So here's a question. So there's a tie to the 1,000 in the women's 100 for the 12th spot.
Yeah, that's trash. How they did that.
Okay.
They need to fix that.
So clearly you know how they did it. Does anybody else on the ties know how they did it?
How'd they do it?
I have
They
no
go
idea.
back to their time from the round before.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, and here's the thing.
But
Right,
it clearly
they
states that in
split
the
the
manual.
tie.
It's in the manual though.
Yeah.
Right, it's in the manual. They split the tie based on the prelim run.
Oh my God.
Go look at the wins. Go look at the wins.
Mhm.
The wins
Oh,
are crazy. Totally different.
oh.
There has to be a different answer for that. I don't know what it is, but you got to find a better answer for that one.
I mean, they would have been better off having them come back and race each other.
I mean, yes, that's better.
Well, then they're not going to do that because it's going to take time. Not going to do that.
But yeah.
So that was decided by the first round run. Yeah.
All right. So
That's crazy.
let's step out of D1 and let's think about what Mr. Cordell Tinch did in D2.
Oh, yeah.
So before you tell the world, I will say this. Lyndon Victor has been saying all year that Mr. Tinch belongs on the dais for the Bowerman. And he's like, I don't know what he would have to do to get on the Bowerman dais as a D2 guy. And I was like, it's not going to happen, Lyndon.
Yeah.
But the point is, this is what you're about to tell the world is like, this dude is special enough that we're even talking about it.
Yeah. So Mr. Tinch goes to the D2 Outdoor Championships, runs 12:87, 6-point win. I don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't
Yeah,
care.
Well,
if you just look at
it's actually impressive. It's actually impressive.
In fact, he didn't
top
hit a
five.
hurdle, but he didn't
Right.
fall. High jumps 221 PB and jumps 816 PB in the long jump. Okay. When was the last time? I mean, are we talking about Grant? The last time that we've seen someone that can be this proficient in the field events as well as the sprint events?
Sure.
Well, you know,
Never.
wait, okay.
Right.
So here you go. I'm going to agree with Mr. Victor that I would not mind at all. In fact, I would say that Mr. Tinch deserves to be on the dais.
Mm-hmm.
But as a former D2 coach, who had an athlete run 1270 in the hurdles, 22.7 in the 200, long jump over 21 feet, and triple jump over 43 feet, it's not going to happen. Mash Ty Thomas did all of that indoor and outdoor in 2013 and did not so much as get a Bowerman watch list recognition. Yeah. So, Mr. Tinch, bravo, sir. We'll see you at the next level, but you ain't going to be on the dais, my guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just true. It's unfortunate, but just true.
Yeah.
I mean, those marks are so ridiculous.
No, that's incredibly impressive.
And that's over what, 3 days?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 3 days.
Here's a good question, and then this has happened in a while. Was there any big name that didn't make it this year? Anybody that made you, oh my God?
Oh yes,
there were, and oh my God, now I have to go look it back up because yes, there were.
Yes, yeah.
I know you got at least one or two ready because you wouldn't have asked it otherwise. But hold on.
No, I don't have. I really don't know. That's why I asked. I was a little busy, you know. I had some
Marcellus
things
Moore
to do.
didn't qualify out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marcellus
Marcellus
Moore didn't
Moore.
qualify.
Marcellus Moore in Texas. Yeah, that was a little
That's not
surprising.
that's not that big of a name. No disrespect. It's not.
Hold on, let me be disrespectful. But hold on, but no disrespect.
No, I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but
Oh,
he's
you're
not
not
like
trying to be,
nobody's
but
like,
you are
oh my
successful at it.
god. Okay, I apologize, Marcellus. I apologize, Edric, but Lord have mercy. You know what?
I just wish that Edric watches so he could call you and be like, what the?
I'm gonna call him and tell him myself tomorrow. Before somebody makes me a meme, I'll tell him myself.
Oh wait. Okay, you know what? While I'm trying to pull numbers, can we address something for a second? Because there was something extremely egregious, way more egregious than the 100-meter tie decision. People, go watch the video. And I'm not rooting for this. I'm actually a fan of. I want to see the best people race the best people, and I want to see this showdown in Texas. But let's be clear: the LSU men's 4x1 do not belong in Texas. They were way out of the zone. I mean, blatantly out of the zone in the 4x1. It ain't even close. It's not even marginally close. And I want to know how they are not disqualified. Like,
So after watching the video myself, I'm thinking to myself, all right, were the officials looking at the start line for the 100 going or the finish line from the other way?
Okay, so
Even
I'm gonna start the pot
that one, and that one's 10 meters out the zone.
Yes.
The officials raised the flag and called for them to be DQ'd.
What?
Yeah.
Well, then
I
I
can't
really
tell
need
you.
it.
I don't know what happened after that. I'm just telling you we watched the officials raise the flag. And see, I'm looking at that other white line.
Yes.
I think that's the end of the zone. And I say to Dennis Shaver, I think you might be okay because I think the baton might have been in the zone.
Right.
But I don't realize that's not the end of the zone. That's the reverse start line for the 100. But at the end of the day, I can't begin to tell you why they're in there, but they're in there. It's just something that I can't.
I mean,
I
listen,
don't know.
if you haven't seen that video, if you watch this show and you have not seen the 4x1 video from the East region, I'm gonna need you to go watch that. Bro, they're so far out of the zone. It doesn't make any sense.
It reminded me of the time the LSU was way out of the zone at the national championship meet at LSU, and the official was watching and clapping as the Tigers went by, and then when they ran past, he went and raised the flag.
Yeah, but that was at LSU.
Right. So I'm saying, like, that's how ridiculous it was. It was that ridiculous that the only other time I've seen a team be that far out of the zone and stay in the meet was then.
So
I mean, every ounce of person and baton was several feet out of the zone.
But I respectfully ask people not to be hard on the relay zone judges because they made the call. They did.
Mm-hmm.
They made the call. Both the outside guy and the inside guy both raised their flags.
Okay,
And then it went under the review, and then it went under protest.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's why I'm like, people had to see that. You're on the ground. At some point on the app, you see that they're qualified. At that point, anarchy should have occurred.
Well, the people that were in the stands that saw it, like, they were like, I'm like, of course everybody's coming to me. I'm like, guys, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I had nothing to do with it.
Who was 13? I'm trying to think.
I can't speak to that.
Let's see, I still have it up.
Who had the biggest axe to grind? I really wonder. Because
yeah, right. Whoever number 13 is, definitely.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's see.
I mean,
Number 13 was New Orleans.
Are you serious?
Let's see, so they were in Heat
Louisiana
3.
conspiracy. It's a Louisiana.
Yeah, they were in Heat 3. That would have made Louisville the Heat winner. That would have made Georgia the next little Q,
Mm-hmm.
number 2 little Q. And then that would have moved Louisiana into the final as a time qualifier.
Wow.
New
Wow.
Orleans would have made it as a time qualifier, yeah. And they missed by 100 from the second behind Alabama, 98-99.
Goodness gracious.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll say this from the West perspective, not necessarily surprised by who was out, but in the 4x1s, I was surprised by how clean it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like the West rolled. I mean, the
Mhm.
last team in on the men is 39-39.
Yep. So
You
we
know what I
See,
mean?
and here's the difference with like the win was those 5-point wins that we were dealing with
Oh,
were
for sure.
right into the face of the second leg.
Oh my gosh.
and a little
absolutely.
bit and a little bit into the face of the leadoff guy. So yeah.
So you run 38 anything that day, Sir Lucius. Like
Right.
you're doing some stupid things then, essentially.
Well, we're trying to get better.
Okay.
We're not.
Okay.
We're number 2. We're number 2. We're trying harder. So.
Oh,
Oh, man. Well,
But I
I
don't
mean-
recall that there were any really big names out of the East that didn't get out that I could remember. You know, there wasn't anybody.
Oh,
walking
yes, there
around
were.
I mean, really, the
Yes,
biggest.
there were. You forgot about them because you told me about them. The 2 female hammer throwers from Ole Miss.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them. Yeah, that was shocking.
On the
That
west
was
side, Lexi Ellis not making it in the triple jump, 1397 triple jump.
Mm.
mhm.
That was a big one.
Yeah, that was tough. I felt bad for her. That was tough.
She had 2 fouls, right? I think she had 2
Yeah.
fouls. Yeah.
Yeah, but, and probably the low light of the whole East Regional was the horrible fall that Devin Brooks took in Ireland.
Man.
Mm.
Yeah.
Somebody said
Horrible.
it broke his arm, right?
Yeah, like his shoulders messed up, and you could see where his arm was. Yeah, it was bad.
So two Tennessee hurdlers went down?
Yeah,
Yes.
Wow.
2 of them went down. One of them ran bad. So only one of them got out.
Mm.
Brooks is leading the race at the 10th hurdle, and his foot goes underneath the 10th hurdle, and it just got
Oof.
bad from there. Yeah, just got real
That's
bad
a
from there.
little different at 42 inches than 33s. I'll tell you that.
Yes, it is.
Back another regional thing, and I'm not suggesting that this changes. I actually like the brutalness of it, but the horizontal jumps have by far the most brutal process.
No question.
It's man, listen, you out there fighting for your life. You get
Same thing
one
in the
bad
throws,
jump.
though, right? The throws are the same.
Yeah,
but
it's all field events.
And no, I understand that okay. And y'all can jump all over me. I'm sure the EP will. It feels very much more difficult to execute the runway and takeoff timing 1, 2, 3 than it does getting the throw off. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. It just feels hard.
Well, and see, and my only retort to that is, hey, you're a thrower, you're a jumper, you know the rules. Just do your job. It doesn't make who has a worse process and all that stuff. I mean, it's still 3 throws, it's three jumps. You gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, because like
Right.
I would venture to say, and I've never thrown the hammer, but I'd venture to say it might be a little more difficult to spin with that thing in your hand than to run down the runway and put your foot on the board.
So
Might be a little tougher.
to your point,
Might be.
Clyde,
Might be.
I feel like I see way more scratches in the horizontals.
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Clyde. How you use the 45 minutes, which is far more time than you would normally get at a regular meet. Normally they'll give you 30 minutes, right? If you understand how to use the 45 minutes to your advantage, i.e., getting to a point that your first jump is not your first jump.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying.
So, wait a minute.
Yes.
So you mean we should coach our athletes to do what they're supposed to do?
You know what, Sir Lucius? That is the part that I think
Okay. That part right
tends-
there. Yeah,
tends to go by the wayside
exactly.
because they're so focused on the pressure of the moment that they're not realizing.
And see, and we always, in the past, it was always this, we're over competing our athletes, we're doing too much.
Mhm.
It's the first round. And the first round of any major championships, how many jumps do you get to qualify for the final?
3 jumps.
3 jumps. So,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
And I'm gonna
I
leave
said,
that
I'm
right
not
there.
suggesting that we change it. But hey,
No,
me and mine got 4 out of 5, so we good with it.
Clyde, for some reason, psychologically, the idea that you get on a plane, fly halfway across the country, and you get 3 attempts spooks a lot of people.
Yes.
And they tend
Absolutely,
to
it does.
focus more on that
Yeah.
particular qualifying program as opposed to you have 45 minutes. We can take the edge off. We can get you to where you're actually kind of in third, 4th to 6th round mode by the time you get out, you get your name called. But if you're still spooked and if you're still, just completely out of it, then you're
Well,
taking
and I
the
think what
job
you're
out of the
speaking to
coach's
there,
hands.
Governor, I think is that whether it's the first jump mentality or the 6th jump mentality, the whole problem is the spook factor here.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That we're afraid to make a mistake because they only get 3.
Exactly.
But if you're coached properly, you don't.
Yep.
It's not. You don't make that an issue. You don't make the issue that, okay, if I'm a jumps coach at any competition, I'm trying to train my athlete to come down and be at their absolute best on the first jump anyway.
First jump.
So if you do that all year long, then
Yep.
it's not an issue because now you're programmed to do it the right way when you get
There you go.
But I'm not a jumps coach, so.
Were there any positive? Oh, look at that surprises from the East and West that jumps out to people.
Hey, Coach Carolina,
Arizona's 4x1.
The Coach Carolina girl running 12:67 in the hurdles.
Wow. Okay.
That was a bit surprising. Nobody saw that coming. Even though, like, watch her in the warm-up, I was like, oh, she's about to run. Like, she warmed up well. It's good to see Justin Robinson running well.
Mm-hmm.
He's starting to reach the promise everybody saw from him as a high schooler. He's a very talented young man.
He looked.
I was very happy to see Desiree Abba run the way she's running.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And look, let's give credit where credit's due. Edric's got those children flying, man.
Yeah.
Your 4 girls, your slowest girl's 11:05 or something.
Yeah, that's
been legal.
Now, see, and I'm gonna kind of let the cat out of the bag here. I'm the guy that goes out and I do the heat sheets on my own before they come out. If my calculations are right, the 4 of them are going to be in the same heat in the 100 at the national championship.
Wow.
Hey.
Okay.
Should run faster.
That's the way it goes sometimes.
Or slower. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the funny part is, I think that gives them the best chance of all getting in.
Yeah, exactly. So they're on their home track. They all go out there and run together. That's the way I looked at it too. Yeah. That is not a disadvantage for them.
It's like a practice rep, and the crowd is going to lose their minds.
Yeah. So it's because the qualifying is top 2 and next 3.
Mm-hmm.
So if they go 1, 2, 3, 4 in the heat, you got to believe they think that they got a chance to get in. So, and I bet a good amount of money they're going to run 41 seconds in the first round of the 4x1 as well. So.
Didn't their relay alternate make the meet in the 100 too? Didn't they get 5 women in the final?
Yes,
it was the one. It was. I laughed because when her name popped up, I was like, "Y'all last week said she wasn't gonna do nothing, and here she is running kind of fast."
Man, they done messed around.
And they've only got 4 girls in 100.
You only got 4?
No,
but Lene is one of them, right? Because that's what I love.
Lene, Lene's not on the relay, which is crazy.
oh.
She ran 10.90.
Well, no, because
she
that
ran
was the
10.90
comment. If she's not
She ran
fast enough.
10.98, and she's not on the relay.
Yeah.
But,
that
so
was
the
the comment.
alternate made it, but she's their fourth girl. Their fifth girl is the girl that ran 49.4 and 500, the 400. So yeah, 49.5 and 400. Yeah,
That's by far the fastest alternate in the country.
In the country.
By
Sure.
far.
I mean,
but leaps and bounds.
Speaking of leaps and bounds, Florida had a double sprint qualifier. Some girl you may have heard of, Kennedy Flannel.
Flannel
Out there.
Flannel,
Flannel.
not Flannel.
Sure we
Yeah.
get it right. Pleasantly surprised, not to you, of course, but got out in the 1 and the 2 in not a top 12 position, a top 6 position. That's
No, very, very. Kenny and I have been, working on some things, and it finally clicked. I thought it was going to click at the conference meeting. Had a little glitch in the system. We got the glitch fixed, and actually, she ran 11:15 in the first round, which is the win legal PB. So I was really happy about that. And
Wow.
she was 22 and some change, and so she's trending in the right direction. So very, very happy for
That
Kennedy.
that is
I'm
no
very proud of
easy
her.
feat, considering what you've had to deal with and the amount
Yeah.
the amount of time that you've had with her.
Yeah. Yeah,
Kudos.
I mean, and it's going to take time, because she was obviously very well coached before she came here. So,
so I found a surprise, since I'm looking for surprises. I'm actually shocked to see that Autumn Wilson didn't get out in either event.
well,
Given
if
how well
you
she's-
watched her at the conference meet, she was, I think she's been sick. Actually, I'm not positive about that, but there's been something wrong with her, because she was off at the conference meet as well.
mm,
Yeah, she hasn't been right since the last regular season meet. So I'm not sure what illness she's had, but I know she hasn't been herself for like about a month now. So, but I too was surprised. We all thought she was going to get out. That is one who thought was going to get out.
I was surprised
I'll-
at the two teams that didn't run the 4x4 in the West.
Yeah. Yep.
no, I still haven't. I wasn't nosy enough to figure out why.
Like
Who
I
were
thought
they?
that like Texas Tech and
Texas Tech.
is it Oklahoma.
No, Minnesota. One of those.
Yeah, so it's
Nebraska.
Minnesota and Texas Tech, something like that.
I know Tennessee didn't run the men's 4x1 at our prelim. Dwayne didn't want to stretch. He just doesn't have enough body, so he didn't want to stretch him too much. He just went for the individual events.
Oh, wait a minute. How did I miss this one? From the 2 weeks before, Latasha Smith from UCF didn't get out in the 400.
No, she did not.
Wow.
Right.
Or the two, or did she get out in the 2?
No, I don't. Wait, hold on.
Isn't she the one that ran 22:09?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
did not run close to that again.
No, she didn't. She ran 23:03. She's number 16.
Yeah,
So she didn't get out in either one.
Wow.
Neither one.
I forgot about that one. I remember looking that one up specifically at the meet, and I forgot about that one.
Fancy that.
No, don't do that.
Don't do what?
Anyways,
I mean,
He
I
did
will.
something. I don't know what he did, but he did something.
see,
So,
don't do that.
I understand that we have entered the 21st century and this is what it is. But to have to explain I'm sorry, if I'm in any Power 5 position, or if I'm in that realm, and I'm telling an incoming recruit that it took 2288 to make it in the 200 on the West.
Yes.
2280. Okay, like that is light years away from any high school kid right now. Am I right? Am I wrong?
I think the closest is Mia. So meaning not light years, but the closest is Mia.
And then there's a young lady at Mount Verde.
Mhm,
Oh yeah,
And then
Michelle.
there's Shanti.
right. So
But I think
Boy, it's
Shanti's
still there.
23 flat. Yeah. So it's still light years. Yeah.
So these are real numbers. These are real facts. We tend to get lost in it because we're still in it, right? It's not over. But man, when we start going back and looking at these numbers and what it takes to make it to the dance, and you're gonna step in front of a head coach or whatever and claim that you deserve X, Y, and Z. These are some numbers you need to really understand. Like there's no question. The standard is still creeping higher. Let's call it what it is.
Look, coach, I ran 1040 and 2095, and I won both at the state meet, and I deserve a bull.
What state
And
would
you're
that
gonna
be?
get that most places.
You will. You will.
Well, and on a very positive note, Mackenzie Long from Ole Miss is real, folks.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
He is real. She was actually starting better. The close has never been an issue, but like the 22-13 in the first round, I know it was a little windy, but man, it was nice. It was nice. And she was 11-0, and I don't know, I forget what she ran in the final round, but 11-0, and then she ran 11:06. So
Oh,
I don't know that much about sprint coaching, but I do know this. When the guy that's usually last or second to last coming off the turn is now first coming off the turn, I feel like that's a problem for everybody else in the world.
typically.
yeah, Mr. Gregory had out quite a weekend. Yeah, he was 10-12 in the first round, and then he came back and ran 20:09 or something. Then he ran 9:97, and then he came back and ran 19:60. So he was on one, as we like to say.
Shout out
like-
to the Mountain West. Shout out to the Mountain West. The Mountain West, took 33% of the men's long jump spots. Great job, everybody. Great
Wow.
job, everybody.
Talk about nerdy stats.
That's right.
There would
right.
be one of them.
Hey man, listen, we know that if you just look at these results, quickly, it's always a P5 show. But every now and then, the little guys show up and do work. And to take 4 out of 12 spots from one conference that is not a P5 is awesome. So we're gonna go out here and try to do this battle.
So Kareem,
Mm-hmm.
you can tell this guy to mind his business. Okay? You tell that dude I said mind his business. Because he has no idea what he's talking about. If he really wants to know, tell him to talk, he can give me a call and I can explain him. But no, don't tell him to call because he's not gonna want like what I have to say. Tell him to mind his business.
Before we move, I just want to say this because I had this happen firsthand. Our sport is so big and so awesome. Somebody at the meet when we were at Gotsis said to me, it is absolutely mind-blowing that there's an entire world of amazing track and field that most of the world doesn't care about.
Mm-hmm.
Because almost everybody in Europe literally doesn't care what is going on in the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild
Yeah,
that the sport is that big and that awesome, right? It was only me and Chris Mack and Paul Doyle that were like looking at the results from the two regionals. Everybody else there was like, hey, Fred ran fast in Rabat. You know what I mean? Like Ryan Krauser broke the world record. Like no one there was paying attention to the NCAAs. So it's just like the sport is so big and so awesome. And I think that's the part that we are always trying to get across to these young collegians who think they're gonna, these air quotes are not big enough, go pro.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, you don't understand how global this sport is.
So they agree.
I know, I was gonna say, I think we rightfully so beat that horse to a pulp, but there was so much.
But track was really back this week.
Absolutely.
I mean, yes. So with that being said, we are going to jump cut to would you rather. So Clydefer, you're up, sir.
Really?
Yes,
Alright.
really. Yes, really. So
Yes, it has been a while.
it's been a while. All right. Would you rather eat Cheez-Its or goldfish?
Goldfish.
Stop
Got
it.
it. Would
Wow.
you rather
Wow.
watch Peacock or ESPN Plus?
Oh, Peacock is amazing. ESPN Plus usually sucks.
Ow. Would you rather have a Costco pizza, slice of pizza, or a Costco hot dog?
I know that the socially unacceptable answer is the glizzy. It's better than the pizza. So I'm just gonna go ahead and roll with that.
That's BS. Hot dogs are amazing.
The Costco hot dogs are like the best hot dogs ever.
They
Never
are
tried them.
amazing.
Would you rather, and it doesn't fit in the sentence format, but Rapid Forte or Silly Cell?
Mm. Pretty much one hit wonders on both. So
you have to pick it.
Selly Cell had the better record. So I'm gonna go with Selly Cell.
Not gonna
Going
lie.
down.
All the time. Would you rather cool down with or without shoes?
Oh, I'd actually prefer to cool down without shoes.
Good answer.
Same.
Good answer. Gentlemen, the
Same.
floor is yours.
I'm gonna jump in there first because this is a first. I had someone text me a would you rather question to ask. So I'm
To
gonna
ask
pass
me
it along.
specifically or anybody.
I think it was for you and they just got lucky. And the reason I say that is because I think this person knows that you play both of these games. Would you rather play hearts or would you rather play spades?
I would much rather play hearts. Hearts is a better game. It requires much more skill and strategic thought.
Wow.
Spades is, listen,
Unless he's
spades
playing
is
with
dope.
me, because then he yells at me.
Listen,
You literally yell.
spades is dope. Spades is dope, and of course, me and the EP are the reigning forever champions of all things spades as it pertains to the alphabet crew and the convention. Tournament on again next convention. Come lose your money. But yeah, hearts is a better game. And as much as I enjoy thrashing and embarrassing competition with my partner here, it's more fun when I get to do it by myself. So hearts.
I will agree, hearts is a superior game. I think spades is a superior experience.
Yes, the social aspect of spades
Yes.
cannot be undone. It's hard to own people's souls in hearts the way you can in spades.
No, that's very true.
This is funny.
You knew I was
Okay,
going-
so I'm going to give you the choice to coach any country's women's 4x1 other than the US or Jamaica for an upset of those two teams this summer. Who you picking? You're
Oh,
coaching
this summer.
this summer. You're coaching
This summer. That's
summer.
an interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Okay. That's interesting. So the teams that pop straight to the front of mind, because you got to have the skill set to the talent, if you will, to get it done, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously Canada is in there. The UK always finds a way to have a viable team in there, and obviously Italy is in there. That's interesting. This year, since you made it about this year specific, I think it always just means more to the fan base in the UK. So I think I would take the most challenging aspect and roll with Team UK.
You got Dina, so you got a chance.
And Daryl.
Well, yeah, and Daryl, yeah.
Dina and Daryl.
Mhm.
So you're halfway there.
What's
Yeah.
funny is you guys were talking about women and he was talking about the men.
I was talking about the men.
I know.
The
That's
women.
why I said when he picked right back. I knew he was talking about the men because he said Canada.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the outlier right now that's like one of the worst kept secrets right now is Nigeria. Like
Mhm.
Sure.
the list.
But respectfully, listen, respectfully, I don't want to deal with the Federation.
We don't have to deal with the Federation. You just get to
No.
coach the athletes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so it was
nah,
a women's,
I
it was
feel
a
like that
women's
was-
question, and you answered for the men. But it's okay.
I legitimately didn't even hear you say women. I didn't hear you say women.
I said
didn't hear
everybody
that
else
at
heard me
all.
say women.
Oh,
Everybody else.
I didn't
God.
say that you didn't say it. I said
I
that I
know.
didn't hear it.
I know.
But
I didn't
if
say
it's
that you
the
did
women-
say I didn't say it. I'm just
Yeah, no.
saying
But
everybody
if
else
it's the
heard
women,
me.
it's undoubtedly Team UK. Like that's not even close. You take Team
Okay.
UK.
Well, then so it worked out for you.
Yeah.
All
You don't
right.
want the Swiss and Cambunjis?
Yeah, no, I would need a third Cambunji.
There is
I need
there
one
is
more
a-
Cambunji.
there's one other that was running really well 2 years ago. I don't know what she's doing now though.
You need a third Cambunji in there.
Yeah.
You need like the Borlays.
Right. Now
Oh my God.
but yes, to the governor's point, if I was pondering 3 women's teams, which I clearly wasn't, it would be the UK,
Mhm.
Nigeria, and Germany. The Germans are
I was
always
wondering if you're gonna give the Germans some love.
the Germans always battling, but I would definitely take the UK.
Okay. Let me think about this. This is pretty simple. Would you rather, and I don't know if you've been asked this, would you rather be a head coach in the Big 12 or the SEC?
I think I didn't get asked that question. I got asked the question of SEC versus the Pac-12 from Sir Lucius a while back. Now the Big 12 is interesting because
It
rumor
is.
has it the Big 12 might pay more. The problem is both conferences have places that I absolutely would never want to live. So I would still
All right, hold on.
default.
Let me
12 might pay more. That's interesting.
Well, not you, sir. I mean, we know, but
I'm not the only high paid coach in this league, so
Okay, let me
But I'll say this: I
I'm gonna
bet you the
update-
average. I bet you the average salary in the Big 12 is higher than the average salary in the SEC.
absolutely,
I would actually bet that.
I would bet it as well.
I'm gonna update my question, Clyde. Okay. All right. You
sir.
are given the keys to a bottom 4 team in the Big 12 and a bottom 4 team in the SEC. Which one are you picking?
Who were the bottom 4 this year? 'Cause I'm gonna have to look that up.
No. Okay, that's up to you. Okay, I'm not even going. I'm not even going to do that.
I need to know my pocket. Wait a minute. I didn't know my pocket.
So a bottom 4 team in which league do you think you can take and get to the top quicker?
That's
So that's the
where
question.
that's-
Complicated.
Wait, I gotta look this up.
he's gotta go look.
You don't have to go look. You know who they are.
I'm not sure exactly who they are though. Wait a minute.
Yeah, you know who they are.
I don't know. Hold on. This won't take but a second. I already got it. Oh wait, I already got it. Hold on. I just gotta make sure I'm not paying myself here. Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Oh no, true. This is absolutely worthy of research. Because it won't take but a second. Bottom 4. Oh, SEC. Easy.
Really?
I don't even need to look up the Big 12. SEC.
Wait, what?
Wow.
Don't even need to look it up.
Wow.
Okay, time out. I just want to make sure. I want to make sure that the people at home heard what just happened. So
Mhm.
you said, without even looking at the bottom four of the Big 12, you'll take one of the bottom four teams in the SEC, and you can beat the top team in the SEC. Like, that's the mission, right?
The question was, of the bottom four of the SEC versus the bottom four of the Big 12,
Right.
which side would I choose to work in?
Yes.
And it's the SEC, and it's not close.
But there was a mission. This ain't where your bougie self want to live. You got to do a job.
Yeah, I got
Talking
you.
about, I'm talking about your best chance of success. That's what I'm
Right.
talking about.
SEC.
Wow.
SEC.
I think there's
Lucius, do you know what the bottom
Yeah.
four of the SEC was this year?
No, I don't.
well, A&M's in there, and there.
You think he spends time looking at the bottom four?
I have a pretty good idea, sir, but I'm not positive who it was.
Hey, we could play
Oh,
Lucius
man.
trivia. Lucius, who was
Because-
the bottom four
because-
SEC men?
Because to Clyde's point, wow. I'm gonna send this to you.
Yeah, go check that out.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Is he?
No, I understood the question in the first
There
place.
you go.
I understood the question in the first place. I just wanted to make sure that the rest of the world who's not really paying attention is paying attention.
Oh man.
Oh
Right.
yeah, I just looked at the Big 12. It ain't even close.
Right.
No chance. It's SEC.
See,
There's no chance.
3 of these I had. The 4th one I was shocked by.
There you go. There you
Yes.
go. Exactly.
3 of these I was like no brainer.
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And think about it. If you did it from indoors, A&M is in there.
Okay, so we're gonna stop right now,
I mean, that's
and
true.
I think it's time for heartbeat props.
Big league.
For
Big
Mr.
league.
Huffins gets totally disrespectful. Nobody else was calling out names, but here you go. Too much time, jet lag, no such thing. Whatever your name is today, you called out
Oh,
people's names.
man.
Just disrespectful for no reason.
Oh gosh.
This dude gets sleepy and he's just talking out the side of his neck. What's
Oh.
wrong with you, man? See, I'm supposed to be the one that gets delirious when he gets sleepy, not you.
All right.
Heartbeat props, shouting out people who need to hear it while they can hear it. So I'm gonna say to those rising freshmen coming in and their families, because these next couple of weeks are just turmoil for them as they start to think that they're older than they are, they're transitioning, people are letting go, some people aren't gonna let go. Just live every day. Just wake up every day and deal with every day. So don't get ahead of yourself, but have fun in the process.
So I want to give a hearty congratulations to everyone who qualified to the NCAA championship meet, the final 2 rounds of the NCAA championship meet in Austin, Texas. And for those of you who are in the area who have any reason to come, I encourage you to come because it's going to be one of the best national championship meets you've ever seen. Do not miss this one.
I'd like to give heartbeat props to the athletes that may be on their 2nd or maybe even 3rd NCAA prelims, and they still cannot crack the code. And the part about, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, you have to have a certain mindset at this track meet. And there cannot be a letdown from the conference meet. You have to understand that the level has to be raised. And at our level, we may be a little bit guilty of putting all of our cards in conference and, doing well there. But for those athletes that are attempting to take the next step, you cannot be discouraged. This track meet is a proving ground for those that may not even think that they're worthy of being in the company of the greats. This is where you find out what you're made of. This is where you find out, like, okay, do I have what it takes? Do I have the mettle? And you have to keep striving. You have to stay hungry, and you have to look forward to the next opportunity you have to come to this meet. It is a special 4 days. And, I just encourage those athletes to keep their heads high and come back next year with even more venom and vitriol.
I mean,
Well said, Jeff.
he took mine.
I did it?
Oh yeah.
Well, good.
I mean,
I'll give you time to think then.
no, I'm just gonna back him up because yours is gonna be better than mine anyway. I said that the qualification process for the NCAA's is appropriately brutal, and it
Mhm.
exposes who you are.
Yep.
It absolutely does, and it's amazing to watch. And the struggle is just as interesting as the triumphs. So major heartbeat props to those that advanced and those who coach them. We will see you all in Austin, Texas. And for those that ended in a disappointing fashion, look in the mirror and make the changes that you need to make, because there's another opportunity coming around.
Yep.
Well said. As one who scored at the NCAA meet one time in 4 years, but finally figured it out in one, I know that pain, and
Yeah.
I wish every one of y'all was coaching me through those first 3 years. I was definitely trying to find sharp objects. I mean, these are facts. My heartbeat props is definitely a homer pick, but it definitely is well deserved. A young man that Coach Big League and I are blessed enough to spend time with every single day, never ceases to amaze me or impress me. But what I saw him do this weekend is one of the more soldierific things I've ever seen someone do. My heartbeat props go out to Lyndon Victor, who, after being able to train for 1 month, got on a plane, went to Austria, and completed a decathlon on a scale of 0 to 10, probably pain somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 to 9 for most of it. And this was exacerbated by the fact that he got food poisoning and couldn't keep any food down, which included his pain meds. So I watched that guy for 2 days do athletic performances and then go find a trash can and throw up. And I asked him if he was okay after every time that he did, and he was like, I'm just going to soldier through it. And when he was over, he said what I think every coach on the planet ever wants to hear. This is a guy that's been in the Olympics twice and won national championships and set collegiate record twice. And he said that this decathlon was the one he's most proud of in his entire life. And if you ever are blessed enough to coach someone like that, someone who's the true embodiment of, an athletic soldier, it changes you as a coach and makes you better. And I can tell you, I wouldn't want to compete against him coming in August, because he's a problem. And anybody who just says, like, look, it's just pain and we'll deal with it, is a huge problem for everybody. So he is healthy, and as he said today, I don't feel like I even did a decathlon. And I said, oh, well, they're in trouble.
Right.
They're in trouble. So I I know it seems like a homer and a humble brag, but I promise you, if you watched him compete for 2 days, I mean, the meet director who's seen it out, has seen it all, came up to him after the meet, and he says, "You are absolutely incredible." So, yeah, go Lyndon.
From a coach's perspective, RIP to Mike McFarland. Another giant in the coach's profession, passed away. Godspeed to you, to your family. You know, this man is huge in England, and the contribution that he's made to the sport, I mean, it's immeasurable, from being an athlete and as a coach. RIP.
Well, with that, another fun episode, and fun by all of the avenues of fun. We literally hit every corner of that box. So with that said, safe travels to those who are making their way. Oh, actually, we have one more episode before that happens. So I'll wish you safe travels next week. But
Hey, it's prediction time.
oh, sheesh.
Let's go.
Lucius's
Can't be worse than the last one. It can't be
Literally,
worse.
I mean, I did okay on the last one. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, Chu, you didn't do okay. You won the Special Olympics.
Absolutely.
Hey,
It's not the same thing.
a dub is a dub.
See, and that's just disrespectful.
A dub is a dub.
So
Right?
when she wins, it's a Special Olympics. When you win, you pull out your medals, and
No,
trophies.
no, sir. She won
I mean, I did
basically
win
like
like
a score of
15-10.
3-0. That's what it was. It was 3-0.
It really
Like,
was.
what are you talking about?
But how you gonna make that the Special Olympics? So that's
Oh gosh.
that's terrible.
Uh,
That is so. That
Clyde,
is so Clyde on that one.
Clyde,
When y'all
you
write
and I
into the
are
show,
sitting there,
please
Clyde, you and I
cancel
are sitting
Clyde and not the rest
I
of
know.
us.
We're
Chris
sitting there
Mack, it was
looking
him.
like,
It was that
oh,
guy. Oh, wait, no,
this
that
is
guy.
bad. This is all bad.
All right, with that, I'm saying bye before we get canceled. All right, have a great week, everyone. See you next time.
Take it easy.